Oh, what a beautiful morning. Can we say that together? Oh, what a beautiful morning. Wow, yes, it is. In spite of the little dampness outside, it's still a beautiful day. Good morning again. My name is Fran Daniels, religious science practitioner here at Miracle Center, the Spiritual Living. So I welcome each one of you that's present with the sound of my voice. I welcome those that are on Zoom. I welcome everybody in the universe because we are one and we're God. Right? Yes. Okay. Yes. So to begin our service this morning, we always put God first, and I'd like you to join me as we bless this morning's service. I invite you to have your feet flat on the floor, close eyes, open hearts, hands turned upwards, meaning that we can receive this good. And let us together, without question, recognize that there is but one life. And that life is God. That life is perfect, that life is whole, that life is complete. That life is my life and the life of each one of you present within the sound of my voice, each one of you that are on Zoom. That life is the life of every living entity in this universe. For in the beginning, the earth was void, nothing. And in a divine movement, a divine vibration upon itself, Spirit said, let there be. Let there be light. Let there be darkness. Let there be oceans and waters throughout the universe. Let there be earth. Let there be man and woman. Let there be. So it is in this understanding, in this feeling, in this knowingness of let there be, I say let there be that divine movement of spirit, that divine movement of love throughout this morning service. Through every word, every thought, every feeling, every understanding, let there be light. Knowing that that divine movement works through everything that goes on in this morning service, behind the scenes, in front of us, on camera. The omnipresence of spirit is all there is. And knowing that this blessing is taking place right now, I know that our Board of Trustees is blessed as they move our church forward in peace and love and prosperity and success. I know our musician is blessed in the form of Gilbert Zachary as he just tickles those keys, allowing the spirit to move through him melodiously. I bless the ushers as they lovingly greet those that come into the sanctuary this morning. I bless everyone, the ladies that serve as snacks after the service. I bless them. I bless everything that takes place in this morning service. And a special blessing goes through our mouthpiece of spirit this morning in the form of Reverend Theresa Slusher. Thank God for technology. She'll be on Zoom joining us with her lovely smile, with her deep inspiration, with her love and joy. And yes, each one of you is blessed this morning for acknowledging and allowing the Spirit to speak through you, to inspire you, to sustain you, to move through you in a successful and loving way. And because of this divine action of love is taking place, this divine action of peace and joy is taking place, I know without question that this morning service is a spiritual experience. Without question, it's in divine order. And if you're in agreement with me, simply affirm. And so it is. And so I let it be. Amen and amen. Beautiful. Thank you, Gilbert. All right, moving on with our service, I would like to read to you, starting with our bulletin. In many circumstances, failure is a given, but what a person chooses to do with the experience of failure is called resilience, perseverance, perspective, and change. Sometimes all that is needed to find success, the elusive solutions and creative ideas, is a little push at the hands and heart of wonder. Yes. Our Science of Mind point of view this morning. This month is an invitation to embark upon an adventure in the spiritual practice of finding the good in the work that we do through the revelation of everyday wonder within every task, project, widget, design, conversation, and product. And by taking every opportunity to do all the good that we can. Many people wonder why they many people wonder why they fail and why they continue to fail. Failure is not to be thought of as something outside of ourselves. A sense of failure is only the psychological and emotional reaction we have to experience which are negative. The Power of an Idea, 1965 edition, page 56-2. Failure does not mean the loss of something. Failure occurs only if the loss of that thing takes our enthusiasm, our courage, our zest for life, our faith, our conviction, and our happiness from us. That is failure indeed. The Power of an Idea. And let me interject. My dad used to say all the time when we were talking about failure, it's all right to stumble and fall, get pushed down, but get up. Don't stay there. So if it appears to be failure, get up. Do something about it. Listen to the Spirit and turn that failure around to success. And our affirmation this week is, I preserve with the strength of the Spirit within me. I persevere with the strength of the Spirit within me. Let's say that together. I persevere with the strength of the Spirit within me. Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful. And now, to add to that powerfulness, to add to that enthusiasm, to add to that success story, let us welcome our very own Reverend Theresa Slusher, as she says, failing forward. Reverend Theresa.
Thank you, Fran. Oh my goodness gracious. I feel like I've just been given a beautiful service. Nice talk, beautiful prayer. Thank you so much. I am totally in agreement with that power. You know, I got to tell you that after service one Sunday, a woman walked up to me and she was saying with some embarrassment that, I hope you didn't take it personally, Reverend, when my husband walked out during your sermon. And I looked at her and I told her, I said, well, I did find it a bit disconcerting when I saw him walk out. And she proceeded to say to me with some insistence that it's not a reflection on you, Reverend. My husband, Ralph, has been walking in his sleep since childhood. I guess I put that man to sleep. Oh, goodness gracious. the human spirit, we say. You know, the truth about the human spirit is that it includes our intellect, our emotions, our fears, our passions, and creativity. And according to the 20th century theologian and philosopher by the name of Bernard Lonergan, the human spirit is considered to be the mental functions of awareness, insight, understanding, judgment, and other reasoning. You know, the human spirit is not ordinary. In fact, it is rather extraordinary, and we all possess it. Or maybe it possesses us, I don't know. But we don't see our human spirit, yet we are this spirit created in the image of God. God, G-O-D. According to Paul, as written in the New Testament of the Bible, Paul writes letters to the apostles saying the human spirit is created in God's image and likeness. And what do we know of God? God is spirit, an animating or vital principle held to give life to physical organisms. It's unseen, yet everywhere present. It's in us, around us, through us, and as us. God is our divine source, the source that is astonishing in its accomplishment. It is unique that there is only one divine source. It's remarkable. And in that, everything that Spirit puts its hands into is incredible and outstanding. It's phenomenal. God puts his hands into us. That's you and that's me. And if we are created in the image and likeness of the divine source that sources us, which is phenomenal, then we too are phenomenal. We are incredible. And somehow when we come down that birth canal, or we make our way out of the womb, whatever way we get out, into this world, somewhere along the way, we forget just how incredible we are. And we play the I forgot game of life. Incredibly, we play it incredibly well. In this game, we forget our true nature, and we learn all kinds of things about ourselves and about the world we live in. We form our unique perspectives and determine what is good, what is bad, what works, what doesn't work. We decide we are successful or a failure in the game according to our beliefs. We decide if we let our failures get us down, discourage us, or even destroy us. Our dreams can go up in smoke, or we can even die thinking we should have or could have. And yet, our human spirit is resilient. We have brilliantly been gifted with a creative urge that lives within us. We have spirit, spunk, tenacity, endurance, and strength. And we have the gift of choice. Thus, we can look at failure as a negative event or as an opportunity to go in a new direction. We can form new perspectives, reconsider things, have new ideas, have revelations and insights, all when we make failure our friend. Yeah, failure can be our friend. We can wonder what would happen if I let failure be my teacher, my friend, and I heed failure as an opportunity to advance and remake, redo, and persist. We can say, I wonder what would happen if I tried to do it this way, or I wonder what would happen if I tried to do it that way. And we can become experimental, observational, and not feel deflated. But again, we can feel childlike with a fresh perspective and a sense of wonderment. Yes, wonder invites us to create positive change, and we can formulate a reason to move, to grow or shift, to learn, and see our potential in the ongoing search for our purpose, our passion, and our ability to make a larger contribution to society. What if we were to look at the man in the mirror that is looking back at you? And what if you then look beyond the eyes that are looking back at you and you see your truth, that you are pure spirit, and that there is nothing or no thing as failure because you matter? What if the failure is just a hiccup in the road that is showing you a better way, a more concise way, a clearer way to accomplish your desires? What if because of it, and I mean with a capital I and a capital T, failure is not an option, but part of the path to success? What if because of it, spirit, God, failure is not an option, but part of the path to success? We all experience success and failure in life. Just as life teaches the lesson not to allow success to go to your head, we would be wise to not allow failures to consume our heart. When we have enough failures, which we all do, we learn that things do not always go as planned. When failures happen, do we quit or do we try again? If we all decided to give up learning how to walk after a few falls when we were babies, we would all be crawling around on the ground. And instead, you got up and you tried again. Now, I don't know too many people who ride horses, but years ago, many people rode horses. And if they fell off the horse, they were told to get up and mount that horse and ride again. Falling was perfectly fine. And you know what else is perfectly fine? Failing. But let us learn to fail forward, which means don't give up when things don't work out. Failure is inevitable. In fact, there is not one successful person that didn't have failure along the way. What appears as an overnight success was many times along the way, many failures. Look at Thomas Edison and the electric light bulb. It took him, we're told, 10,000 tries before he succeeded. And Michael Jordan failed many times. In fact, he is known to have said, quote, "I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and miss." He says, "I have failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." That's what he said. So the secret to moving forward is cultivating a sense of everyday wonder as a guide. And make it a constant companion. Wonderment. And have a sense of persistence that beats all odds. And we can do this because we are resilient and we are spirited. There's a story about during the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. There was a 26-year-old marathon runner by the name of John Stephen Akhwari. He was from Tanzania, which, as we know, is in the middle of Africa. Well, in this race, he started out with 79 other contestants. Understand this. This is in Mexico City. It's grueling, hot day. And the high altitude affected all of the athletes. So here's Akhwari. He cramps up due to the city's high altitude. And early on in the race, he falls. Now, he hit the ground extremely hard enough to dislocate a knee and severely hurt a shoulder. But you know what he did? He got up and he continued running. Yet, because of his injuries, he was forced to walk for long stretches. However, he was determined to finish the race, pushing through his pain. Now, eventually, the winner, by the name of Mamo Wolde, crosses the finish line, and he made it in 2 hours, 20 minutes, and 26 seconds. After that, it looked like the race was over as the winners approached the platform to receive the medals. And John was nowhere to be found. He was not among them. But what happened next is absolutely amazing. It was just 1 hour and 5 minutes later exactly. And by now it was almost 7 p.m. in Mexico City, where the sky was beginning to darken and most of the stadium was empty. People were leaving and going home. As the last few spectators were preparing to leave, you would hear police sirens and flashing lights that caught their attention. And what they saw was a lone runner wearing the colors of Tanzania had just emerged through the stadium gate, limping, with his leg all bandaged. And even though he's limping and his leg is bandaged, he found the last of his endurance to step up his pace and run to the finish line. Oh yeah, it was John. And with every ounce of persistence, perseverance, determination, he crosses that finish line, and it took him 3 hours, 25 minutes, and 77 seconds. But you know what else is amazing? He was one of the 17, only 17 out of 79 who finished the race. When he crossed the finish line, a roaring cheer came from the small crowd, who somehow knew they were bearing witness to history. Later, John was interviewed, and the interviewer asked him why he continued running. And he said, "My country did not send me 5,000 miles to start the race. They sent me 5,000 miles to finish the race." Failure, Albert Einstein tells us, is success and progress. See, the truth about failure is that it does not mean one's idea is flawed, not valid, or that the dream isn't good enough. Failure means there is something to be learned or gained, or a course correction is necessary. In short, failure points to the possibility that there is always something more better and blessed ahead. Failure is actually an opportunity to become better at. And it seems to show up at just the right moments. Failure helps you and me to reevaluate and come back stronger with better reasoning power. Often, the next time around, it becomes easier to attain that goal. We become clear in our intent, and we can nail the outcome. But when failure seems to be getting the better of us, how do you bounce back? Get to know your failures, all of them. All of the pieces and parts of each failure. Let it show you, teach you, so that you can decide how you can let your spirit soar with intensity. You know, you can get angry over your failures, or you can become ignited with a passion to succeed. Let your failures drive you to success. Failure, it's not fatal. It's not going to kill us. It's not going to do us in, no matter how hard it may feel. Stay willing to understand that failure may simply mean there is another opportunity just over the horizon. Take the opportunity to wonder about what could be and allow it to be so. Just one single instance of failure can teach more than a lifetime of success. It can teach you just how resilient you are, how wonderful you are, how brilliant you are. Failure opens the door to other possibilities. What you thought wasn't possible before becomes possible. Allow yourself to wonder at the possibilities, to wonder at the what if. Wonder allows us to detach from the outcome and explore with great curiosity and trust. Trust in the process as it unfolds. See, the human spirit is resilient. This is one of our God-given attributes. You are resilient and can bounce back from any amount of failure when you let failure be your friend. Let your failures be your guiding light. Each failure offers feedback on how to perfect an idea, a task, or a project. It's the work of work. And it's the willingness to continue to move forward even when things don't happen according to your plan. As a spiritual practice, wonder can show you the divine plan behind and within everything. It can make the distance between where we are and where we want to go that much more exciting. The willingness to fail forward can make work a beautiful, crazy, and exciting journey. So fail forward and fail forward often. There's an American author, speaker, and pastor by the name of John C. Maxwell. He says there are 4 things that make people change. And you want to know what they are? 1, people change when they hurt enough. They have to change. And 2, when they see enough, they are inspired to change. And 3, when they learn enough, they want to change. And 4, when they receive enough, they are able to change. And I say this, let your hurts and your pains drive you to succeed. And let your vision for success become your inspiration. And keep learning and pay attention and observe your failures because they are there to help you to keep moving forward. And know this, that God always has your back. God is your ultimate resource. It is known, ask, and it shall be given. God will always be there to help you, sending you the right people, the right conditions, and place you in the perfect situations so that you can not only go through failures, but you will succeed. God will always have your back. So be brave, lean into your failures. And we have a song by Bill Withers, but it's sung by many different people. It's called Lean on Me. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for playing that for us. You know, let your hurts, your pains be your friend. Let your disappointments be your friend. Let your failures be your friend. And let your friends be your friend. Keep your vision alive and keep on going. And know that God is the greatest friend you could ever have. And we can always lean on God. We have a story to tell, another story by our reader today. So I don't know who our reader is today. Oh, Marcia.
This is such a long story. Gladys is right here with me so I can lean on. Okay, today's reading is an excerpt taken out of article 5 Bible Characters Who Were Successful After Miserable Failure by Alberto Carvajal, found on beliefnet.com. Moses. According to the modern school of ministry, Moses was an insecure loser. According to our political system, Moses was an exiled total loser. According to himself, at one point in his life, Moses was an undeserving, unwilling to cooperate, coward loser. Sorry if I'm too hard on poor Moshe, but he gave God all the excuses in the Egyptian books to not obey and not do what God was asking him to do. Read this and ask yourself if this sounds like you. God, I can't do what you want me to do because I have a terrible, horrible past. I have sinned. I have killed. I have lied. I ran away. I betrayed my family's confidence. I relinquished my spiritual talents. I'm full of hate and I suffer of stage fright. And those were just a few of Moses's excuses. If you read the whole Exodus book, you will see how Moses had his own identity problems, needed some anger management classes, started his political career with the wrong foot by killing his adversary, then ran away to hide from everyone, including God. There was a certainty, a specific calling in Moses. He felt it, he knew it. However, Egyptian Sunday schools didn't really teach about a sovereign God who has his own time and place for everything, including our calling and our dreams, and for when all of them will happen and will come true. Young Moses knew there was a living God, kind of. He was in disagreement with the establishment and wanted a better life for his people. But his trust was in his human skills, which were brutally shattered after he failed to promote himself as a potential leader of a new political party. Don't get me wrong here. This was all about power and politics at the stage of young Moses's life. The day came to face God Almighty, but even after all the pain and struggle that he went through for 80 years, I can feel from his responses to God that he was not yet very convinced about this divine calling thing. I can see he was an intellectual, science first, kind of believer. God had to give him a true supernatural sign to impress Pharaoh, and not just tricks out of the Egyptian books of magic that could also be replicated by Egypt's sorcerers. He also went on to question the how and why of God in almost every step to the promised land. Does it look or sound like you and me? Well, maybe Moses and I are the only ones who question God's plans every day. It was in the exile, lonely, and we can say poor, humiliated, working in the worst job ever for someone who used to wear those fancy pharaoh hats and used to walk as an Egyptian, sing it, ate the best kebabs, and used to wash his hair with royal cow urine. They did. It turned their hair orangish. It was here, working as a humble shepherd in the worst place ever, unsure of who he was anymore, and with a feeling of being far from his calling as a loser, when he finally came to know face to face the power and presence of the true God. He had his excuses, of course, but God is always also the creator of perseverance. God himself insisted on Moses' calling and assured him that if he kept his faith and believed, he, Moses, would lead the people of Israel out of slavery. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you, Gladys.
Oh, we all need good friends we can lean on, right? Oh, thank you for that story. That's incredible. I had no idea that Moses went through such trials and tribulations before he allowed himself to answer his true calling. And I didn't know he considered himself to be a loser either. This is what I would like for us to remember. This is what I need to remember and to know without a shadow of doubt that the human spirit is resilient and always capable. You know, our spirit is created in the image and likeness of the great spirit we call God. We have within us a power that is greater than anything we shall ever contact in the outer, a power that can overcome every obstacle in our life, Ernest Holmes tells us. And remember this also, that there is potentially more to gain from failure than there is to lose. Failing forward in your work means that you are growing. You're being productive and willing to adapt. So I say this, my beloved friends, go forward, knowing success and failure are akin to one another. You cannot have one without the other. Just like there's high and low, cold and hot, you cannot have success without failure, and you cannot succeed without moving forward through failure. The real work is determining what's next. Wonder allows you and me to move beyond the stigma of failure into the wonder of what if. No matter what, keep going and don't give up. And let your human spirit soar, because you are doing a good job. And we have another song by Alicia Keys called Good Job. Thank you for that song. You know, you are the matter of spirit. We are the matter of spirit. Without spirit, spirit can't do its job. And it's doing a good job through us. How could we ever allow ourselves to think that spirit's not doing a good job? Spirit needs us as much as we need spirit. We are the arms and the legs of the Almighty. And we're doing a good job, even through our failures. We just keep going and going because the world needs us. The world needs us now. Keep going as we continue to create a world that works for everyone. And know that you matter. I'd like to go ahead and take this into prayer. So if you will please join me. And you can close your eyes if you so choose. Maybe place your feet on the floor. As Fran said, open your arms, your hands, and allow yourself to receive. Knowing that there is one great spirit, one divine source, one mind, one power, one life, omnipotent, omnipresent, forever sourcing all things right here and right now. with love and light and beauty and life itself. This source is the power of all, the power of me, the life of me, the power and life of all beings, present here. Present here and present not here. This life force is coursing through everything and everyone, every cell of every body. And I know this source is always leading the way to greater good, always has my back, and is the willing participant in my life. The supporter of my life is I am the willing participant in life, and I support this life with my life by doing good works. So I'm speaking my word has power, for there is power in the spoken word. And so I speak my word for the greater good of all humankind. The human spirit is resilient, and all beings move with grace and ease in creating a world that works for everyone. And where there is enough, a world where there is plenty, where we are already in the land of milk and honey, where we need not wait for the present because it is already here. Already here. Prosperity is right now. Love is right now. Peace is right now. Beauty is right now. And success is right now. And if you are in agreement with me, please declare with your heart and your soul as we send these words to the law, knowing it is done and done now. And together we say,
And so it is. Amen. Amen.
And I believe we have some announcements, and we have collection and a benediction.
Oh, Reverend Theresa. Wow. Let's give her a hand. Tell you got to come to church on Sunday. Got to come to church on Sunday. Thank you for that inspiration and for words to live by for the following week to help us to become more successful. Because we're successful right where we are. Quiet as it's kept. So we want to be more successful. With that, I would just like to announce to you, well, two things. On Thursday, we have a phenomenal discussion group, and it's taken from the book Keys to Wisdom by Ernest Holmes. Now, I think this has been our second meeting, and we're still on the first page about the four. It's just absolutely amazing how you just read stuff and just read it. But then when you start discussing it and discuss how you feel about it and what the definition really means, it's just amazing. So I invite you to join us on Thursday at 1:30. The Zoom email has changed. So I guess, Reverend June, you can contact the office or send us an email. Oh, it'll be sent out. The Zoom information. I come in person, because, I do like to talk sometimes. So please join us for that. Also, just to announce our beloved Roberta Presley, religious science practitioner emeritus, we will have her homegoing celebration this Saturday at Boyd's Funeral Home. It's 2165 East 89th Street in Cleveland, Ohio. The repast will be here at our church at 1:00. Those of you that would like to assist us in making the family comfortable or serving, you can see Reverend June later after church. But the repast will be here at 1:00. The funeral starts at 10. She was a very special lady. So those of you that can attend and be a part of the celebration, please join us. And with that, I think those are really all of the announcements. We'll ask for the ushers to come forward and take the collection. And I think that's all, folks. Like that cartoon, which cartoon was it? That's all, folks. So together, let us just do the benediction. And the benediction means we just give thanks. Just give heartfelt thanks for the way that God has showed up in this morning service through our speaker, Reverend Theresa Slusher, through the music, through the readings, through everything that is taking place. It's all God. It's all good. So we give thanks for this week. We go forth knowing that right where we are, God is. We go forth knowing that we're divinely guarded, guided, connected, and protected. Praising God for every second, every minute, every moment, every hour of every day. And if you're in agreement with this benediction, if you're in agreement with these words of thanksgiving, these words of blessing, simply affirm with me. And so it is, and so I let it be. Amen. And this concludes this morning's service. God bless.